All right, so hey, I'm here with Joy Dill from Art Realty, and we are at the lake. Is that all right?
Yeah.
If I could change it, we could be in Fiji. See how that works? And we are the experts in buying a second home. You know this because A, we have a microphone, okay? And we're sitting on a beach doing this. Ever thought about buying a second home, whether that be at the lake, the mountains, the beach, I mean, your favorite college hometown for game day? People have a lot of questions. So we want to talk to Joy about what's different in buying a second home. So Joy, I'll just start real quick with you. What do people need to know when they're thinking about buying a second home?
They need to basically get a plan together. Their financials in order, but they've got to get a plan and talk to someone.
Good. All right, so Joy, tell me, what is the biggest difference for people buying a second home as opposed to just buying their regular house?
Because they're going to be emotionally attached, because they're going to have the memories, and then also that people will stretch, I think, to buy that second home because they are going to be able to spend time there with their family and make these special memories.
So you're talking about stretch, you mean financially?
Financially.
Okay. All right. What about for negotiating? What's different?
Well, there's really, you still got to come in with a clean offer.
So if a house is, I can knock them down, 50%?
No, that's not happening.
All right, so Joy, I got a question.
Okay.
Mountains, beach, lake.
Lake.
Why?
It's closer, and basically you can, I'm seeing a lot of people use it from Thursday to Monday, or when you could, be at Lake Martin in an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
Whereas the beach is going to take 4 hours.
So are you a little biased on that?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about property values, because we've seen crazy stuff. Why are these things going up so much?
I think it's the emotional attachment that these families have, and they're making, memories with. A lot of times I'm seeing, siblings going in and purchasing properties together. I'm seeing friends go in and purchase properties together to be able to afford that, lake house.
Gotcha. Okay, so I know I had heard since COVID, things have really kept going up. Why do you think that is?
I think that people are able to use it, work out of there more often.
So more people are not working in.
And I think people are using, are able just to use their second home.
Okay. So people now that are not working in the office, they can change their surroundings. Why wouldn't they do that?
All right, so Ben, I've got a question for you. So how are you seeing people financing these second homes?
Oh, all right. That's where it gets real fun. A lot of people don't realize they've got equity in their house, they've got investments, they've got 401ks, they've got life insurance policies. We've done, there's not a one size fits all.
So you get very creative.
We have to get really creative. And what I've found is that people, like you said, are willing to stretch a little more for the second homes because it's their family. They know they're going to have memories. They know they may or may not need to buy some additional toys that go with it. But they're willing to move some of their wealth from here to a second home because of those memories. And let's face it, they're going to be probably bribing their children and grandkids to come down and hang out and have fun. So I think people, when they start looking at second homes, they tend to look at the overall financial picture. Whereas when people just go buy their house that they're living in, it's almost like that's in its own cocoon by itself. But when they start looking at second home options, it's like, okay, let's take out all of our finances and let's start putting these pieces of the puzzle together. And what's going to be the overall best way to finance it? Is it to pay cash, which we hope they don't do? I'm just kidding. Sometimes it makes more sense to pay cash. But, should they liquidate something? Should they take out a home equity line and access some of their equity? Should they redo their loan? It's different for everybody, but it's ultimately...
Sounds like you've got different options.
Ultimately, you have to get creative. All right, so other than the financing, let's just say that someone just thinks this is way out there. Hey, this person's young, they don't have a whole lot of money or equity, anything built up yet, they're just getting going, but they dream of a second home. Is there a way they can get started without having to...
They can take baby steps. They could start out in a condo. They can start out with a property that allows short-term rentals and get some income coming in from those short-term rentals. There's properties that are off water that have water access, and that, start out small. And, I guarantee you a lot of these houses that are, $2 million, that's not their first step.
Sure. So I have seen that. I've seen people go in together. Have you seen that?
I've seen that. Siblings going together. I've seen friends.
Oof. Have to be a close
And that
friend.
you just have to rotate weekends and all that.
Okay, I do have some friends that have done that. Okay, so baby steps. Just because that's the dream house is farther down the road doesn't mean you can't go ahead and get in now.
That's correct.
Okay.
But get a plan together.
All right, so let's say that person dreams of getting a house at the beach, the lake, wherever. What do you think their first step should be?
I think they need to get a plan, talk to a lender and get their finances in order, and then, they need to talk to a realtor
Okay.
that specializes in that area, whether it be the beach, the lake, the mountains.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you need to work with probably not your mom's best friend in Sunday school class, but maybe somebody in that market.
That knows that market, that's familiar with the restrictions, does it have year-round water? Can you build a covered boat house? What are the covenants, the restrictions?
All right, so it sounds like you know Lake Martin here in Alabama. If somebody's thinking about Lake Martin, what are the types of things that they need to be looking at and considering?
Year-round water, I think, is important. What about, you've got to know somebody that's familiar with the area. If you can have a covered boat dock, if you can have, if you can do short-term rentals, if, a lot of the neighborhoods around the lake, some of them only allow 6-month rentals, and some of them are only a year rental.
Oh, wow.
So that's important. If they're wanting to generate income on it, they've got to allow for nightly rentals. And there's only certain areas that do that.
Okay, so I think the best advice would be to use somebody local.
Use somebody local that's familiar with the market.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we talked about property values and second homes. Those markets have been going crazy. So if I feel like something's just out of reach.
Well, the people that bought 10 years ago, they probably thought it was crazy through the roof, and look at their property values now.
Oh, good point.
So I think they just need to get a plan together and start looking.
Dip their toe in, figure it out. How can I,
We can get creative.
Baby steps
Baby
first,
steps.
and then we can figure out how to get them into the house of the dreams.
So the people that have bought now have created generational wealth and can be passed down from generation to generation.
And they can use it to bribe their kids, bring grandkids.
That's right. And create memories. And I'm seeing a lot of families, do Thanksgiving at the lake.
Christmas at the lake?
Some have. I've got some people that have.
So do they have Christmas trees at
They
like
have
the
Christmas
lake
trees,
and
yes.
the beach? I mean, I could see them in the
Yes.
mountains. Okay. All right, so Joy, last question
Okay.
that I have for a lot of my realtor friends. What's the worst thing you've seen in a showing?
Oh no. Let me think. Probably. Oh, I showed a house one time that had tons of key deadbolt locks
Inside?
inside on random doors, closet doors, bedroom doors. Makes you
You
wonder.
think they just had bad kids, or?
I don't know.
Okay, that's spooky.
Yeah.
Remove the deadbolts
Yeah.
before you list your house, people. That's my advice of the day.
So if you're thinking about buying a second home at the lake, whether it's the next month or the next 5 years down the road, give me a call. Let's talk and get a plan together.
All right, so if you've even thought about buying a second home, whether it's at the beach or the lake or the mountains or your favorite college town, whether that's next week, next month, next year, next 5 years, go ahead and call me and let's put together a plan. I mean, if we know what you need to do going into it, you're going to have a lot more confidence and you'll know exactly what to do next.